Hey, it's Trevor Newland. I'm in Alien Romulus and Smile 2, and you're listening to the Don't Go Out There podcast.
In a world where zombies, ghosts, serial killers, and vampires all exist, it's Nico, Brian, Mike, and Dustin, and they are all that stand between you and the films that could end the world. Welcome to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast. Just want to thank all of our fans and listeners. Really appreciate the support. You guys are awesome. Before we get into tonight's film review, just want to give a quick shout out to our website, don'tgoouthere.com. Everything about our podcast is on the website. All of our episodes and interviews, if you want to check those out. We've done some incredible interviews in the past. Go check them out there in a specific tab by themselves so you don't have to scroll through hundreds of episodes on Apple or Spotify, etc. We also have our store if you want to grab a shirt, a mouse pad, a hat, all that good stuff. We'd love to see your pictures, rep your favorite podcast. And Shan's Etsy page is also attached if you want to grab a tumbler. All of our social media links are on there as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Like us, subscribe us, follow us, all that good stuff. And the last thing I want to shout out on our website is our Patreon. We call it Blood Donors. We have the traditional monthly reoccurring kind. If you want to support us, help us pay the bills, as we say. Or if there's a movie you want us to review, that option is available as well. Just check out our website, don'tgoouthere.com. Also, if you haven't noticed, we've recently joined the Believe Network. So there's some ads on our program now. But if you want ad-free content, go check us out on Blood Donors. The ad-free episodes will be available there. We appreciate your support. We hope you enjoy the episode.
All right, guys, getting to the film review. We're continuing on in 2024 month. We're on Mike's pick. Mike's got a fun one. Mike, you want to tell us your pick and why you picked it?
Yeah, I went ahead and picked Smile 2 from 2024, mostly because it felt like not overdue. I don't want to use that word. We've run it into the ground. Ha, ha, ha. But it feels like it was probably time to do Smile 2, right? It just kind of feels like the right time. And it was a very popular movie this year. And honestly, it surprised me with how much I liked it. I was not expecting to like this movie as much as I do. So that's a little bit of a spoiler alert there. I think this movie takes what the first one does and really builds upon it and does a really great job. And I actually like the story potentially better in this film, just because I think it's a little bit more relatable. It's a little bit more current, I guess. Again, this is probably the second movie. And look, please don't mishear me when I say this. I know somebody's about to jump in, but this is probably the second movie of that year, Trap, and this one that's influenced by the fucking Eras Tour. You cannot deny that the Eras Tour and everything that goes on around that whole movement is part of the reason this movie has the themes that it does. It just does. It's right there. It's written in the fucking movie. And by the way, I read online, that's actually true.
He had to do it.
No, it's true though. Dude, it is true. And Trap really is. I mean, he started writing that movie at the fucking Taylor Swift concert. So again,
Trap for sure.
Taylor Swift invented concerts. I get it.
That's not what I said, but this is clearly where the influence comes from. It's not, come on, man. Jesus Christ. Anyway, really like the film. I think that, the acting performances are really good. I love that we get the Kyle Gallner, I guess, cameo. He's not in it very long to kind of have some connective tissue between the two movies. I think it has one of the better opening scenes that I've seen in a very long time. It is fucking awesome. Love the shot that we get at the end of that scene. I've seen people kind of not whine's not the right word. That sounds derogatory. Complain about the ending. And I actually did not have a problem with the ending. I know, buddy. I know. And that's why I didn't use whine, but I actually kind of liked it. I actually think it worked for the story it was telling. So I'm excited to talk about it clearly because I'm all jacked up on caffeine. Let's fucking go.
Well, I'm going to whine about it, Mike. I will fucking whine
Yeah,
about
of course
it.
you will.
You
old
it's
man.
not even I'm going to whine. I had to get the old man joke in.
That's right.
It's not even. All right, let me just give my general thoughts. I know me and Dustin did an instant reaction on this joint, and after my first watch, I really enjoyed the movie. Don't get me wrong. And this review was the first time that I really rewatched the movie. Like I put it on for background noise a few times, but like actually rewatching it to like critique, take notes on, it really went down a little bit for me. Like, don't get me wrong, I still like this movie better than the first one for sure. But to me, like, and I know I told Dustin this too, like I know the movie is trying to make Sky Riley, a maniacal mess, confused. We don't know. She doesn't know what's going on. We're not supposed to know what's going on. But to me, it just gets way too convoluted and messy to where like everything, like, and this is in my notes as well. I don't know what the fuck happens after she leaves Lewis's apartment that actually happens.
That's a fair
and
criticism.
And that gets on my nerves big time. And I think the ending is a complete ripoff of Truth or Dare from 2018.
Of course it is. It's the same ending.
But the thing is, I'm going to give the movie a decent score still because Naomi Scott, all of the acting I think is very good. Like you mentioned, the opening scene with Kyle Gallner I think is fantastic. The cinematography, the sound design, all the jump scares, like all of that I think is great. And just like I mentioned in the little TikTok video I made, I just think Parker Finn needs to get a writing partner to like fine tune this stuff because he's got a really good beef stew, but he's got no beef to put in the stew. Like he's missing something. And so yeah, I think it's good for the most part, but the bad really does weigh it down. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I'm going to echo a lot of what you said because I don't know what it is with these writers lately that can't stick the landing on the end of a movie. But that's also how I feel with this one. And I'm doing scene by scene tonight, so let me say this. We went from one of the best, and I mean, in my opinion, the best openings to a horror movie of all time, right there with Scream and 2004 Dawn of the Dead for me. So it was almost, we went from that to a nearly perfect movie, in my opinion, until almost that exact part Nico's talking about. Very similar to a lot of the ways a lot of movies are kind of ending. The way Substance ended, I didn't care for that ending either. But I do love 90% of this. And where I gave the original somewhere in the 6 range, I believe, I think something like that, I will substantially be higher on what I believe to be a superior movie than the original.
Yeah, my biggest takeaway from the movie is that Sky Riley hydrates like a champion. That girl can put down some Voss water. But this movie, so on this was my second time watching the movie. I saw it in the theater. Obviously, Nico and I did the instant reaction. And when I'm watching it this time, through like the first 60%, 65%, I'm like, man, I think I actually like this more than I remembered. And then the ending, that last third of the movie, I'm like, no, I was right. Okay, how I feel is how I felt. I do think it is slightly better than the original, but it's just, it gets so convoluted. Like you said, Nico, I don't know what happened for real after she left Lewis's apartment and what didn't, what was all in her head, like a Cranberry song. But
Zombie.
That's a great song.
It is
But,
a
Great song.
great song.
Fantastic.
Fucking
Speaking of The
great.
Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the ending just missed so much for me because I felt like, especially once we realized a good portion of it we know for sure didn't happen, right? And we'll get into it. But a good portion of it we know for sure didn't happen because people are present that shouldn't have been if it really happened. And it's like, okay, so if nothing else, we just wasted like 20 minutes of our time watching this hallucination. And that's too long. You can have it to where, oh, none of that was real. Make it like 5-10 minutes max. 20 plus minutes of none of that mattered frustrates me. It's like you're playing in my face. So I do think that the movie has its merits. I think the opening scene, like Brian said, is incredible. One of the best. And I think that Naomi Scott put on an incredible performance, but the ending just fell apart. And that was like our biggest criticism of the first movie, I think, was that the ending fell apart. Yeah. If you thought the ending fell apart in that one, buckle up.
So I want to address a couple things before we start. The first thing is, I agree with that criticism, by the way. Both of you guys made it where it gets messy on what is real and what's not real. I think a perfect example of kind of how to do that would be like a Shutter Island, right? Where you go into the movie thinking everything is on the up and up, and it's real, it's happening, but it's all a play, right? And we only find that out in the end. And by the way, even that movie kind of leaves a little bit of gray for someone that wanted to make an argument. Well, again, we reviewed Shutter Island. You can listen to that at don'tgooutthere.com. But again, I think that that's the kind of line you have to tiptoe, and they do not tiptoeing in this movie. Like, there is very clearly a big chunk of the movie I'm like, I don't know if that fucking happened. Now, that doesn't mean I don't like what's happening on screen, but I understand being frustrated by the fact that, like, well, we just kind of wasted our time. I do understand that criticism. The second thing is, and maybe this, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, because I may play off of that point as well.
The second thing is, and this is probably makes me sound like a simpleton, this movie's easier to digest than the first one. But like, if we're just talking, like, in the first one, there's a lot of stuff that has to do with the the psychology profession, being a therapist, those like themes of trauma and abuse and all these other deep things. And this movie has that, right? Clearly there's trauma and alcoholism and drugs and all of those things, but like, it's easier to digest and understand the reason that Sky Riley is the way that she is. And it doesn't hit on those themes maybe as deep. They're definitely there, and they're just a little more surface level. And so for me, it was easier to actually enjoy what I was seeing on screen as a horror movie. Now, again, I liked The First Smile. Like, we reviewed it. I gave it a high score because it does have a lot to say. I get frustrated by the end, but still, like, has a lot to say. But I do think, for me, this movie just played better as far as like turning it on, having a good scare. There's great scares in this movie. They're not your typical jump scares. There's some really good jump scares, some really good sound design is fucking phenomenal, which Nico mentioned. So again, I just kind of wanted to like clear the air on why I like the movie and why while I understand that criticism of, well, what's real and what's not real, I don't mind it as much because what I'm seeing, I still like it. The twist that it's maybe not real does suck though. But again, that doesn't totally ruin the movie for me, I guess.
Yeah, what I was going to say is you brought up a good point with Shutter Island. It's not that that's what happened. It's not that we find out that none of it was real or a lot of it wasn't real, because Shutter Island did it right. Shutter Island did it in a way that I didn't feel that way. Right. It just didn't work with how it was presented to me in this movie.
But that's totally fair. Totally fair.
Yeah, same. I mean, I remember watching this movie the first night in the theater when it came out. And like, before it got, this is where the movie really like just frustrated me and lost me, is when she's in the car with Gemma and she gets the call from Gemma. Yeah. I'm like, all right, I'm tired of this at this point. Like, this is just too much now. Like, who the fuck's been driving this whole time, right? Like, to me, up until that point, this movie is like a 9.59. Like, I was really liking Smile 2. Like, and I agree with you, Mike. Everything just flows better. Like, up until then, I could relate to Sky Riley and her situation more than the first one. I don't even remember the first girl's name. I know it was Sosie Bacon, but I can't remember her name. Like, the first movie just felt so horror tropey. This one felt smooth. Like, I loved everything about this movie until it lost me. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's like, and I forget what movie or show that it is, but it's like, you fall asleep, you're having a horrible dream, then you wake up, and then it turns out where you woke up is actually still a dream, and it keeps happening over and over, and finally at the end, the person says, fuck it, or forget it, and then doesn't care. I can understand that. It's kind of like you keep pulling the rug out, or you're Lucy, I'm Charlie Brown, and you keep fucking moving the football. I'm just going to eventually quit trying to kick that shit. Charlie never learns, but I will.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're going to get to it at the end, but it's like whenever it gets to like Sky on the stage, it's like, how the fuck did she get here? It's like what led to this? Like, she's been everywhere except the stage. Like, how did we get here? And her mom's alive again. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Her mom being alive let me know that all of that, so at least from the hospital on, was not real.
Yeah.
So was how much from the hospital before was real. So it's just frustrating.
But when she gets that call from Gemma in the car, she's talking about she hasn't heard from her in weeks, and that's after spending the night with her and driving her in the car. Like, nothing makes sense.
And I did catch on this rewatch, and I have it in my notes when we get to that scene, but when she texts Gemma, like she texted her before and Gemma came over to her house. The next time she texts her, we see her screen. She never sent that text. That text was not in that thread. So we know that was not real.
Yeah, I mean, come on. All right, Brian, whenever you're ready, we can jump into the scene by scene. This is a pretty long movie, so let's get started.
We open up with a shot of Joel looking rough as hell. And 6 days later, title card, letting us know, okay, this shit is right after the events of the first one, and as expected, our boy Joel is cursed as hell. And I'm going to try my best to describe this opening a little bit, but honestly, it's like I said, one of the best of all time. And you just need to check it out. It's a one-shot too, and God almighty, it's good. Anyway, Joel sees a red sports car drive up and puts down his ski mask to approach the vehicle, seeing hallucinations along the way. He draws on the guy and takes him as a human shield walking into the house. What we find out is a drug dealer's house. We realize pretty quickly he's trying to pass on the demon by killing the one he took hostage in front of the front door. During the shootout, though, he accidentally kills the witness. God damn it, Joel. Luck would have it, though, drug dealer Louis Fragoli saw the whole thing, inheriting the curse where our boy is scot-free, right? Well, that would be until more gang members show up and chase Joel out of the house. He almost gets away when he's mowed down by a car, and we get the opening credits. We cut to a clip of the Drew Barrymore show and meet the New York-based pop star Sky Riley. She's preparing for her comeback tour following what we find out was a public struggle with substance abuse and a car crash that killed her actor boyfriend, Paul Hudson. We meet her mother manager, Elizabeth, and assistant Joshua, and after seeing a dance rehearsal where Sky has to take 5 due to her injuries acting up, we see Sky's scars from the accident and that she's on her last Vicodin pill that she drops down the sink when she's interrupted. While in the car, we see her text someone named Elle, asking if she can come by, to which he responds with a thumbs up. Come on, Elle, gonna need a little bit more than a thumbs up.
Yeah, before the film even starts, I love the spooky music playing as we cut to Kyle Gallner in the car. I mean, this man just looks broken. He's a horror king, and, he's sitting in this car, and he knows what he's got to do. I feel terrible for my man, Kyle. Not a fan of the film establishing basically you have to end the curse in 7 days. Sounds kind of familiar, right? Right? Oh, another horror movie that did that. And like I mentioned in our instant reaction with Dustin, I'm super impressed this guy doesn't drop these 2 coffees as he's held at gunpoint. I love how they show how materialistic he is as well. He's worried about his new jacket and not getting shot. Like, give me a break. It goes 0 to 100 really quick in this house with Joel stabbing folk over and over. And what a bummer, Joel. You shot and killed bro you were trying to spread the curse to. But I thought it was excellent acting by Kyle telling him not to die. You can hear the sincerity and the stress in his voice. Lewis is straight up not having a good time in this house. Great acting from Lucas Gage here. You can feel the fear in his voice as well. The camera work here is incredible in this one shot. Huge shout out to Charlie Saroff, I think's how you say his name, and Parker Finn. Like, I'm never going to critique Parker Finn in his choice of shots. Like, he's excellent with his camera choices. When Joel runs out the house and gets ran over by the truck, talk about a huge pop in the movie theater. I saw this movie in Dolby Digital and the whole theater was shaking. But I do kind of have a nitpick or a question. Like, why didn't the people who shot at Joel get cursed as well? Why only Lewis? Like, they saw his death. I love the blood smile in the road. And in our interview with Trevor Newland, he told us this was all practical effects, bodies, all that stuff. So good on them. Good seeing Drew Barrymore on screen, relevant pop culture talk show host, who also was the lead of an incredible opening scene to a horror movie. I really liked her cameo. And we now meet Naomi Scott as Sky Riley, who I think personally gave the best horror performance by an actress in 2024. Like, if she's not good, this movie is a straight up stink fest, if you ask me. The sudden cut to Sky pulling her hair and screaming was a nice jump scare in the theater as well. And fun fact, Naomi Scott only had a few weeks to practice the choreography and songs, which he also helped co-write before shooting began. All I can say is I hope Sis got paid well for this. In such a short amount of time, the film has established a lot with Sky. Rehab recovery, a deceased boyfriend from a car wreck she survived, struggling with drug addiction, dealing with fame and anxiety. This has been a very action-packed opening set of scenes that I've thoroughly enjoyed. Go ahead, Mike.
My only thing, Nico, and I meant to talk about it in our open. Do we even know that she went to rehab? And later in the movie, she mentions not talking to anybody about her past problems. Like, are we sure that she's been to therapy, that she's been in rehab? I don't know. Like, again, it's all a little up in the air, if you ask me. I guess we really don't know 100% for sure. I love the Smile franchise now because it's getting a third one. I love the score. I love the music. This score is like an 80s throwback score to me in the best way. I fucking love it. It makes it so eerie and so suspenseful. Really, really plays well here. And I love Kyle Gallner. Like, I do. Like, he's really, like, he was not the problem with the reboot of Nightmare on Elm Street. He was actually good in that movie. He's good in a lot of other movies we've done, including The First Smile. Really, really like him here. And again, this is so intense. I just love the way that they shoot this movie. It's got a bunch of different angles and a bunch of different shots that kind of like, wow, that's really creative and really unique, a different way to kind of make a movie. And again, the acting from Gallner when Lewis walks in is fucking great. You know, he kind of overcooks his food a little bit here. It backfired. He tried to pass it on to bad people, which is, again, I understand that. But now he's passed it on to Lewis, unfortunately. And I can't lie. This opening scene is fucking phenomenal. It's one of the better horror movie opening scenes. The shot, smile, all that stuff. The movie, good Lord. The music, all the stuff that you already touched on, Nico. But because of Scary Movie, anytime somebody gets hit by a car in a horror movie, I fucking laugh. Okay? I just do. It's not my fault that I am predisposed to the Scary Movie franchise. So now I have no choice but to laugh. This is Drew Barrymore. Is this her second appearance on Don't Go Out There? Do I have that right? I can't think of another movie besides Scream that she's been in that we've done.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
Okay. All right. Now, for the series, eventually I'm going to pick the Santa Clarita Diet, but that's a different story for a different day. This kind of apology tour that Sky Riley goes on here, and shout out to Naomi Scott as well. Again, she's great in a lot of stuff I've seen her in. And honestly, I didn't hate the live action Aladdin like everyone else did. I think she's actually good in that as Jasmine as well. Yep. I was going to say, I thought it was good. So, and I think that she's great in that. But this kind of like apology tour that every celebrity that has to do, PR tour goes on, I can't stand it. I hate celebrity culture, man. And the way that it's kind of designed for us to actually care about it, I don't. But anyway, I, however, am a sucker. I can't wait to hear how this goes. I am a sucker for behind the scenes tour dance and how that sausage is made. Like, I really do like how, like watching the choreography being made and how that's done. It doesn't matter who it is. I saw it behind the scenes of an Usher show one time, and it just blew my mind, the work that goes into making these. And I thought that was really cool to see. Maybe it's because I would never be able to dance like that. So last thing here, I just love some of the filmmaking choices that they're making. Again, they're showing a little scar on the back of her, the music. I just love when they use this score, when they use the music, and then again when they don't, which is in the next set of scenes. So again, really good, intense opening set here.
Yeah, I love the open. Having Kyle Gallner back was great, but I still wish it meant more. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Nico. Buddy was there, but still, everything after the open was less awesome. Crazy first kill, stabbed him in the chest and carved him up. Then him getting plowed by the truck was very shocking. Great touch, also having the blood trail be in the shape of a smile. I've seen a crazy amount of Lucas Gage movies lately. This movie, How to Blow Up a Pipeline, Assassination Nation, and Companion. I mean, it's just 4, but that's still crazy. Companion was the best of the 4 by far. Then we see the star of the show, Naomi Scott. I've had a huge crush on her ever since I saw her in Aladdin, which I love. And she's also incredibly talented. So it's not just a crush that I have. She's really good. I also love that they included Drew Barrymore, the Drew Barrymore show in this movie. It adds some credibility and realism to it and to the character. But it's also a great touch since Drew, like you guys mentioned, was, of course, in Scream, an iconic horror movie with the iconic opening scene. Oh, and David Arquette was also in Scream. Not to mention Kyle Gallner was in Scream 5. Boom, knocked it out early. I like the backstory that they give Sky. It adds layers to her character, but also makes sense why she would be mixed up with Lewis. It's like, celebrity drug dealers do exist. R.I.P. Mac Miller. I think the choreography for the dances in the movie are also great, and it's a solid set of opening scenes. I'm invested.
We pull up to the hotel, but aren't greeted by Tim Curry or Rob Schneider, nor do we see Donald Trump in the lobby. That's a Home Alone 2 reference, Nico. No, Sky immediately exits, obviously sneaking out after her handlers have gone. She grabs a taxi and heads to Lewis's house, who we find out is the drug dealer from the open, and her high school friend, who is fucked up, and holds her against the wall with a Leonardo sword. That's a Ninja Turtles reference, Nico. At his apartment, she just wants some more Vicodin, but Lewis is screaming and panicking while admitting to what we know is the demon possession. He panics in an apparent seizure, but rises, smiles, and fatally smashes his face with a barbell plate. Afraid of being found in a room full of drugs, Sky dips out without alerting anyone. Back at her apartment, and now cursed herself, Sky chugs some Voss water, That's Voss with a V. Grown-ups reference, Nico. And she experiences her first hallucinations. We cut to the next day where we learn from Elizabeth that Gemma used to be Skye's best friend and she wants her on tour with her. Darius from her label enters her dressing room and asks her to come to an awards ceremony / dinner thing the next day and be a special presenter, to which she accepts. We see a montage of a photo shoot and see the sadness in Skye's eyes before we are back in the dressing room where Skye is searching DNA FAQs, that's frequently asked questions, and finally texts Gemma back. We see remnants of an old conversation that didn't seemingly end well when she receives a text from an unknown number claiming to know she was at Lewis's apartment and that she is in danger. Uh-oh. After another hallucination of her now dead ex-boyfriend in the mirror, she's joined by her mother and in no position for a normal conversation argues with her about what she is wearing.
Yeah, I don't think Rosemary DeWitt gets enough credit as Skye's mom. I think she plays her role very well. Yeah. The mom who is also the manager, but frustrated and stressed with her daughter. Like, she's in a tough spot to me. And second week in a row with a companion star, like Dustin mentioned, Lucas Gage is fresh on the mind from the film. I think he has a very promising future in acting and in this genre specifically. Like, I think he's great. Good call, Skye. Leaving right now is the absolute right move. I know the film is showing Skye with a drug addiction issue, but she's a mega pop star. Like, why not just get like a doctor prescribed and then do steroid shot for her back pain? Like, that's not drug addiction. Like, why not get that? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Lewis is dragging ass getting the meds and had a sword to her throat. Skye, you need to leave this place right now. How much volume is Lewis pushing, though? Man has a big-ass apartment in New York, 2 pinball machines, weights and workout stuff. This man is Mike Settler's goodness. Lewis going from choking to the creepy smile. I thought it was damn creepy. Like, I thought he did that smile terrifying. And this is one of the gnarliest kills we've seen. Bashing your own face in with a weight plate. God damn. The effects I thought were top-notch. Big shout-out to Johan, I think it's Johan Coons, the special effects supervisor and team. I think the special effects look amazing. This upside-down camera shot of the city leading into Skye's apartment, one of the many standout shots. I will always praise Mr. Parker Finn for his camera work and jump scares. Skye downs her first Voss water, which to my surprise was not a product placement or sponsor. I think they missed the bag there, though. Love the closed captioning. Simply,
no way.
Nah, I mean, in our interview with Trevor Newland, he told us that was just there.
Crazy.
Voss got free advertising. They won, actually. I love the closed captioning simply being squelching, dripping, as Skye is awakened seeing Lewis's dead self bedside. Like, I got a good laugh out of that. The tension between Skye and her mom, I thought was very realistic in its portrayal as well. I would hate to be a celebrity, pop star, taking pictures, modeling pictures all damn day like Skye is. That just looks annoying as hell and miserable. Realistic as hell, Googling something like if DNA is left behind in your vomit. Like, I know I've Googled like symptoms before and like, that felt real. That felt really real to me. More squelching and dripping as Skye gets a spooky text from Mr. Unknown. I don't know how Unknown comes up as a text. Usually whenever I get weird messages, it's just from like a bunch of numbers or letters. I think this is portrayed realistic too. Skye struggling, with her body appearances and issues in her suit. Like, I can't praise Naomi Scott enough. Mike, this lesson got, but I just thought it was another good set of scenes. Like, I think the movie is really, really good so far.
Oh, look, you guys, there's a set of Christmas trees in this movie. Must be a Christmas movie. That's what the diehard that are Christmas movie people say. Anyway, fucking stupid.
No, that movie takes place at a Christmas party.
So does fucking that one Batman movie. That's not a Christmas movie. Anyway.
Batman Returns is oh my God.
No, man. No, it's not. The theme of the movie has to be specifically Christmas. Anyway, we'll talk about that another time. Give it that GIF. I'm sorry. GIF, whatever. I just want Brian not to yell at me. Again, goddamn, a whole ass sword, bringing a whole ass sword to the party is fucking crazy, man. Like, a whole fucking ninja sword up to the throat is wild. Also, shout out to cocaine, right? You know what I mean? What a time. Just kidding, man. But no, again, just, so I love this line from Lewis. Do you believe in weird stuff? I mean, not in the way that you do, apparently, because your apartment just looks like somebody weird lives there. I know it's a celebrity drug dealer. It also screams super single guy, right? I mean, it just does. And you made the wealth joke about me, buddy. Hey, man, This movie is a product placement galore for Voss Water, which I know that Dustin Franklin has a full-ass fridge of because that's the level of wealth that he's on. But
I don't even have a fridge.
all right, dog. The lack of sound / score in this apartment scene is insane, and it adds so much. As much as I like the music of the film, I think the silence here as stuff starts to ratchet up and we're about to get this really fucking creepy smile off of Lewis that I think is so eerie, and it's a really well shot one as well. I love when a movie takes something good like a smile and kind of flips it, right? I mean, it's like an evil clown. Same things, same premise. I just want to let Lewis know this is not how you do plate curls, okay? You know, he had the 45-pounder up there, the caddy, and he looked like he was trying to do plate curls, but he kept hitting himself in the face. And I got to tell you, that is improper technique, sir. You can't just hit yourself in the face with it if you're doing plate curls. You come up and pause right before nose to plate and then bring it back down. We don't have to smash our own face. I thought that's what he was doing anyway, but maybe not. Again, I don't like that we have to cut the Sky's face to let us know that she really has this smile, disease now, for lack of a better term. She really has it. I already thought there was a shot there when Lewis looks at her that was effectively done, but now we really know. And again, I just felt like it overemphasized it. Her momager, which is what every celebrity apparently has, her momager is slightly annoying, but I love the way it's portrayed, and I can understand that tension being there in real life, right? I cackled when Darius snubs this man. He gives everyone else a hug, and he's really happy to see everyone, and he just snubs fucking Josh there. I thought that was hilarious. I laughed my ass off. I don't know what's up with these big glittery glasses that a lot of people are wearing, but those are hideous. I mean, Jesus Christ, man, that's terrible fashion. I don't get fashion, okay? So maybe it's just me. I love that she Googled, does vomit have DNA? Of course vomit has DNA, man. It has saliva on it, along with other matters of DNA. Side note, I do wonder how texting, especially with an iPhone, in movies will age, like 50 years from now, because we're going to be using something probably completely different than what we use now, maybe. And I just wonder how it'll look, or how we'll look back on it. I always do that. Last thing I have here, Dustin. Sometimes the face in the mirror shot is overdone, but I really like this bloody look of Lewis popping up back there. It's a trope, but it's a trope for a reason. And I think it's a really well done shot because it's done with a lot of tension and suspense.
Yeah, Buddy pulled a samurai sword on Sky Riley. That's a wild way to protect your home. I don't know, maybe he was just trying to show her Randy Jackson's autograph. Good stuff with him being paranoid and going back and forth, not knowing what's going on. Shows that he doesn't trust reality and the Smile entity's manipulation power. Sky, to me, though, had no reason not to call 911 here. Sure, there's drugs everywhere, but she doesn't have any in her system. And I bring that up later. She doesn't have any in her system. She would have been fine. I know media speculation and public opinion would have ripped her a new one, but at least she could have gone without the paranoia of, am I going to get in trouble or are the cops after me? It looks worse that she left. Great looking effects on Lewis's face, though. That was gruesome. And that first night after she encountered the entity, that was rough. That squelching noise was bad enough, but then seeing a figure by her bed, I would have comforted and protected her. I like the added layer of Sky having a falling out with her best friend, and then the text from the unknown number added more tension, but not as much as her seeing Lewis behind her in the mirror. That was very creepy stuff. I'm still liking the movie a lot at this point.
We open with a montage of another rehearsal and then cut to some sort of signing convention where she continues to hallucinate. Back at her apartment, Sky finally calls and leaves Gemma a voicemail, to which she immediately gets a return call. She reconciles with her estranged friend, and Gemma agrees to come over. During another hallucination, she spots clothes on the floor, as if someone with some Mike Settle skid marks in their undies has undressed. The lights cut off, and she spots a naked dude smiling in the darkness. Dick swinging and all, she's chased to the door where she opens it up to the surprise of Gemma, who is standing outside. Solution to the anxiety? More Voss. I got a fever. The only cure is more Voss, baby. After the water chug, she and Gemma officially make up as Sky tells her about Lewis, and this is a short set of scenes that ends with Gemma agreeing to spend the night.
Yeah, this meet and greet is very relevant to me now, considering I just got back from MegaCon. You know, a lot of these interactions feel very authentic and like creepy. Like a lot of fans are weirdos. My dog Alfredo, he needs to be at a dermatologist, not at a Sky Riley meet and greet. I say that respectfully, but folk is not looking great. Honestly, with what tragically happened to Christina Grimmie, I'm surprised that they don't have security even closer to Sky or like other celebrities in real life. I'm just using her as an example. This little girl smiling at Sky gives me possessed by a demon vibe. I'm not sure why Sky assumes she wants the literal shirt she's wearing signed though. Her smiling at Sky in a photo op, that was spooky as hell to me. Like, big props to that little girl. She killed it. I'd hate to disappoint my fans, but I think I'd call it at that point if I were Sky. Like, I'm done with this shit. This has been too weird. The friendship, reconciliation with Gemma, that also felt realistic. However, this is why I hate the ending of this movie. Like I said earlier, what actually fucking happens? Could you imagine if this were real for Sky, seeing the shirt of that Creep fan from the meet and greet? I'd be booking it to the front door. Sky is tweaking and Gemma asking her, how are you doing? I can't lie, it made me laugh. Like, it got a good pop out of me. Ever since Gemma got here, she has not had one good moment. Sky is acting weird as hell. Now she's dropping Lewis is dead news on her. I thought this was another solid set of scenes, but it was mostly dialogue and not a lot to take notes on, but I thought it was pretty good so far. Go ahead, Mike.
I can't lie. That thing she's popping out of on stage, it looks like one of them rose things that a lot of women use. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyway, that's what it looked like to me. I love how she kind of goes and sits up in the stands. Clearly, she's getting ready for an empty arena match, right? I mean, we're talking Terry Funk back in the day, Rock and Mankind from Super Bowl halftime show. A little empty arena match soon come. Man, and this part it would suck of being famous. And I know, and we love our fans on the show, right? I'm not here to shit on fans. We're fans of things, right? Like, again, I would have given my left ball to be at the Eagles Super Bowl parade tomorrow, okay? So, like, don't get it twisted. However, this part of being famous would really, really suck because these people are out here pouring their heart out to you, and it would just get to be a little much to hear over and over again, right? Again, I love this guy that says, check my SoundCloud, which I'm sure every musician ever has heard. It doesn't mean you can't be kind. It just doesn't mean it also doesn't mean it's not super annoying. And this movie also made me want some fettuccine Alfredo, I'm not going to lie. And since at the time of recording this, Valentine's Day is tomorrow, I may have to partake in that. Truly yours, your biggest fan, This Is Stan, or Alfredo, whatever. However that song goes, I don't remember what Eminem said back in the day. This young fan smiling is creepy as fuck. Kids in horror are normally normally effective, and I think this girl absolutely killed it, so shout out to her. Man, if I were Gemma, and now this is where it gets a little fuzzy because we obviously know it's not fucking real, shit ain't happening. But let's pretend it were. If I were Gemma, I'm not calling her back after sending that text. It's a wrap. Fuck that shit. Fuck you, and you go on with your life. Again, there's so much Boss Water, which, by the way, can't wait to hear how this goes. Boss Water is different. It's fucking great. It's delicious. It's awesome. It's fucking wonderful. It is. Thank you. Thank you, buddy. For someone backing me up. Look, I had a big bottle of it at Dustin's house because he has that whole fridge full. And so that's the first time I'd ever had Boss. And it was really, really good. So I understand it.
I really did used to buy 6 packs of Voss at
As
Walmart.
you should. It's fucking delicious, man. It's
really good water.
It's really good water. I like Smart Water too, honestly. So either one I'm good with, or Life Water is a good new one now.
Voss and Fiji are my
I like
go-tos.
Fiji as well. It is great. Not my dog Alfredo, man. Fuck. My man, that was a creepy shot of them looking at each other down the hallway. I did not need to see his stained whitey tighties, though. That was wild. No thank you on that. Again, the shot of them looking at each other down the hall, very, very effective. I like the character of Gemma. That's why I'm kind of sad that we find out what happens, because she's the kind of asshole, stern friend that we all need. Like, yeah, she's kind of riding or dying with us, but also she's an asshole, and we all need that person. I will say, and again, we know it's a little fuzzy, but the stuff with Gemma feels like way too much of an exposition dump of stuff we already know as moviegoers. Like, we've seen all this stuff unfold already, and she's kind of laying it on Gemma, and I just felt like it was unnecessary. So that's all I have.
Yeah, the score during her rehearsal was intense, but to me it was kind of wasted. Like, that scene didn't call for such a great score, but it didn't hinder the scene at all. It's just like, dang, it was a waste. The fans at the meet and greet, they were annoying to me. They were too exaggerated. Weirdos are plentiful at meet and greets, sure, but they were all like caricatures. To me, the last guy and the creepy smiling girl were the only ones who needed to be the way they were. The first three were just annoying to me. At least sprinkle in some normal people. I don't know. I think that's like putting down people that go to those. Makes it look like everyone that goes to is the typical wrestling fan where they don't shower, they don't bathe, they don't use deodorant. I don't like that.
That's fair. That's fair. They should have some good guests too.
Yeah. A fridge full of Voss water, that's definitely one of those. If I ever hit the lottery, I won't tell anyone, but there will be signs. That's one of those things for me. Super jealous of that. The glass shattering and then disappearing, and then the stalker shirt showing up was very creepy stuff. What's worse is his trail of clothes. Not only is that ugly incel naked in her home, but he's walking around with doo-doo butt. I'm out, dog. The skid marks are so unnecessary, though. Like, we didn't need that middle school humor in that tense situation to me. I don't know. Just his clothes would have been enough. I did see also on IMDb, they have it listed as a goof that Voss is glass bottles. And so when she sits the bottle down on the counter, the sound doesn't match. That is fair because we see the glass shatter. So those are glass bottles, but Voss does make plastic bottles too. So get off your high horse. Gemma showing up was good. Had she really showed up, because it's very believable dynamic between them. Not sure if it really happened or not. At this point, we know later it doesn't. And also friendships are so funny. Like, girls will call their best friends the B word, and guys will call their best friends the F slur. But it's all in love. We're moving along nicely here.
No, I agree with you, Dustin. That I think for Alfredo, like, just have his shirt in the hall. Like, that's enough. Like, you don't need all the clothes, the doo-doo underwear. Like, I agree 100% with that.
We cut to Sky's dream where she's hanging upside down, waking up from her wreck. She looks over and sees her boyfriend dead as fuck. This startles her to wake up, and we see Gemma next to her as we hear some inner thoughts verbalized by Sky. And we see this is another hallucination as we get another jump scare by Gemma smiling and waking her up again. It's not Groundhog Day, but this time it is morning. And Sky realizes she's late as hell, and we get another rehearsal montage where she has another meltdown and freaks out, blaming her assistant as she returns to a destroyed dressing room and is accused of using again by her mother. Later that evening, we are at the fundraiser, and this is probably going to go well, I think, right? Sure. Well, Sky hallucinates the teleprompter stalling and goes on an impromptu tirade about how success has not improved her life, and sees a smiling Paul approaching from the audience and panics, including flipping the old lady host into a fucking table. That went well.
Damn, Sky Riley, this chick has had some rough times recently. Imagine waking up in a car crash, bone protruding out your leg, your boyfriend's dead, and you're just there helpless. Fuck, man, that sounds like a bad day. There's no way, and like, this is some good review talk for me, but there's no way in hell I'd be able to sleep with like these AirPod like sound things in my ears like Sky's doing right now. There's no way I could sleep like that. This film is relentless with Sky. Ever since the Lewis death, she hasn't had a moment's peace, it seems like. Gemma saying she's miserable, like in bed, the smile, then the goofy headlight jump scare. Like, Sky can't get a moment's peace. Like, damn. Gemma, tell me if I'm wrong here, but Gemma looks more like Elizabeth's daughter than Sky, right? Like, I thought she looked way more like Sky's mom than she does. The runtime of this movie doesn't really bother me too much, but do we really need to see Sky's whole warm-up set after she's already late? Like, let's just keep this moving. This song, like Blood on White, is low-key a banger, and I'm vibing right now. And she has like all these songs on iTunes, and I might scoop a few. I'm just saying, I might scoop a few. The jump scare with Paul and her leg breaking, that caught me off guard. You know, I had to go to the bathroom during this scene on my first watch, so I missed it. We've talked about this a lot on our show, but Sky's descent into madness, I think it's one of the best, even though we don't actually know what happens. But Naomi Scott is goated, so she did it well. A serious question: what would be worse to actually deal with, the smile curse or like a slasher villain actually pursuing you in real life? I don't know. I think the smile curse, because I mean, at least you have a chance to get rid of like a Jason or Michael, right?
Yes.
Am I in the wrong for being on Rosemary's side? Like, holding your kids accountable is good to me, and Sky, I think, needs tough love. Albeit she doesn't understand what she's dealing with, but Team Rosemary. This is the nightmare of nightmares. Lipstick is all smeared. The teleprompter is stuck. She can't stop making jokes about her struggles with addiction. Yikes. Like, this is a fucking nightmare. If she's saying all this wrong stuff, why doesn't Darius get up and stop her, though? Like, this is just a disaster. Once this speech hits TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, like, Sky's career is cooked at this point, right? Like, what's she going to do? Big shout out to Ray Nicholson. You know, we all know Jack Nicholson's son. He's got a new movie coming out with Samara Weaving, which I'll be seated for because we got to support cinema. But this guy is creepy as hell as he walks up to Sky in the room. To me, Ray Nicholson might have the scariest smile of both of these films. Like, he's good at that shit. And this is the last thing I got, Mike. Now Sky knocks an old lady off the stage and through a table. We haven't seen anything this barbaric since Bubba Ray Dudley put Mae Young through a table. Go ahead.
I swear I have like the same thing in my notes. That's awesome.
Yeah, me too. I was going to say 3 for 3 on the Mae Young Bubba Ray because I'm like, look at that shit. That's exactly what
Only
that
a
was.
face a month could love.
But buddy. And Mae Young took it like a champ and basically called Bubba Ray a pussy if he didn't do it all the way. Don't fucking go soft on me, which I appreciate Mae Young for. Okay. By the way, this is a super realistic dream that would keep me up the rest of the night. Ain't no going back to sleep after this. No fucking way. Super fucking creepy and scary. I love the way that they showed this dream. It felt real in a movie that we don't know what's real and what's not. I had the same thing here, though, Nico. How does one sleep with headphones in? I'll never understand. Look, I can do noise, right? Like a noisemaker or the TV, but with the screen being off, a podcast playing, whatever, all that. But headphones? No, absolutely not. Oh my God, it would drive me nuts. I will say, and honestly, this is kind of a fun part, maybe why I like the movie so much. When the smile stuff, those effects start happening, I revert back to being a high school horror fan again, where it's a lot of, oh shit moments. It really is. And I think the shot of Gemma here in the bed, very effective. I really liked it. And I think anytime the smile stuff happens, I'm like, that's fucking freaky. And it gets me almost every time. This is a pet peeve of mine, but I hate when other people blame other people for not waking them up. You're a grown ass person. Wake your fucking self up. Even if you ask me to and I forget, that's not my fault. That's your fault. Wake your own ass up. Be a goddamn adult. Have some fucking responsibility. Don't get mad at other people for not waking you up. I hate that shit. I will tell you this. What really sucks for Sky as a character, and when you kind of touched on this, and we all have a little bit, no one would ever believe her that this was happening. Not even, like someone who would believe in this demonic, whatever, possession situation we have here, because she just got done being a major drug addict, right? And losing her mind like this would be an easy way to explain, or that would become an easy way to explain away this behavior. She's back on the stuff, and it would just be as simple as that. You'd never be able to take her at anything other than that, and that sucks for her because obviously I think, well, maybe she is clean in this situation now, as far as what she was using before. Man, there was a lot of like, they're going to cancel the tour a little too late. Hey, it's a little too late to cancel the tour. And my man, Justin Timberlake, didn't let anything ruin his world tour. He thought it was. This is going to ruin the world tour. No, it's not, buddy. You're just going to become more famous, have a fun clip with a cop, and we're right back to it, doing our Booger Sugar every night, going out on stage, performing. That's what happened to Justin Timberlake and what happened to Sky Riley as well. I will say, this scene here at this honor thing, whatever, super uncomfortable to watch. The smudge, or like the lipstick smudge on the face is absolutely wild. And then she goes out there and just fucking bombs, man. I mean, just totally bombs the ad lib. Ad lib is spilling her guts to the whole world. Just what a mess. I love the monologue though. And I actually love how she shits on the business, the music industry, and how being famous kind of fucking sucks sometimes. I will say, I don't get the disco ball dress, this like reflective attire that a lot of people are wearing. Don't understand that. I think it looks like shit. Last thing, this is just like when they put Mae Young through the table with the Dudley Boys. It's literally what I have in my last thing. Go ahead, Dust.
Yeah, the wreck nightmare, that was intense. We're zoomed so close on her bloodied face, and we can hear her panic. And then we see Paul dead beside her. Really good stuff here. I love her Talking Head shirt also. I was late to the party on them. I actually didn't know any of their work until I watched Stop Making Sense. It was a iconic Talking Heads concert that A24 bought the rights to. I watched it, and I'm a big fan now. And also Psycho Killer, very appropriate song for a movie like this. So that's cool. The entity toying with Skye by saying that she's a horrible person in Gemma's voice and then smiling at her was so well done, especially when we see that it's actually morning and Gemma wasn't even in the bed. And then we find out later it wasn't even there at all. When Gemma said, "Hey, Elizabeth," and Elizabeth didn't say anything back, and she didn't acknowledge that Gemma was there, that was a great subtle way to show that we can't trust what we see. There's no way that Elizabeth would have ignored her if she was really there, especially when she was trying to get Skye to call her earlier. I do feel like making the main character a pop star or singer of any kind is kind of a cheat code in script writing. Runtime a little thin, just insert a 3-minute song and dance number. This runtime definitely didn't need the help, though. We've got a 2-hour movie here. Her hallucinating the injury was another good touch. It is funny when she storms off stage, though. Like, it's hard to come across as angry, dressed so ridiculously. Mom was absolutely right to assume that she was using again. Of course, we know she isn't. We haven't seen her use, and they would have showed us because we're following her life. But her behavior is that of an addict who's off the rails. Another great touch showing that what's happening isn't real. She texted Gemma here, and this is what I'm talking about. Her text from before when she was like, "Can you come over?" weren't there. So none of that was real. The whole presentation scene was a tough watch. I don't know if I've ever felt secondhand embarrassment from a movie like this before. From her smeared lipstick to the diarrhea of the mouth to throwing an old lady through a table like she's 2000 Bubba Ray Dudley, I wanted to crawl into a hole. The tight camera on her face added to it. Great call there. Paul's name being on the teleprompter was an evil touch, and him being there was even more evil. This smile entity, I'm just going to say it. It's a real jerk. I'm locked in still.
I will say, really quick, we've all kind of touched on it, but we've done a lot of movies, I guess 2024, so it's kind of becoming a little bit of a trope in and of itself, but the way that movies are being shot now where they have a lot of close-ups on faces is working still. It's still working. Now, again, it may become a trope and like, all right, well, enough of this. But right now in the year of 2024, now we're in 2025, that shit's still effective with me. I'll never look at shrimp the same again.
Yeah, no doubt.
We open up with the aftermath of the award show meltdown, where we see Skye's team taking a tongue lashing from the organizers of the event. Back at her house, Skye received another text from the unknown number offering to help, claiming to know what's going on, including sending a video Lewis posted days before his death. This escalates into a fucking huge jump scare and also piques her interest, and she agrees to meet who we learn is a man named Morris. We learn that he has been tracking the entity ever since it killed his brother. He explains that the curse passes to anyone who witnesses a victim's death. Theorizing that the entity is parasitic and could die without a host, he suggests stopping Skye's heart and then resuscitating her to break the curse, but she refuses and leaves after being recognized by some bar-goers. Following a lengthy mental breakdown in her apartment, Skye is cornered by the entity, which takes the form of her backup dancers. Skye tries to escape but is violently thrown around the apartment and pinned down as a giant arm forces its way into her throat, causing her to black out.
Yeah, if I'm Skye's team, I have no clue what to say or do to fix this mess. Like, what do you do? Say she's struggling with her addiction again? Like, that's not going to help. Like, you're fucked right now. Best jump scare of the movie coming up. This one got me so good in the theater. You know a scare is coming, but how it's executed was so good. Like when she's watching that cell phone video, fuck, man. Dustin, I know, just broke into a cold sweat seeing Skye send 2 short messages instead of 1 message with both pieces of info. I know he was fucking fuming at his house.
I was shaking.
Again, I ask, how is Skye moving around so freely? Isn't she supposed to be this huge pop star? Where is her security watching her? I think it's a nice touch having Skye's phone constantly ringing while she's hearing all this information from the guy, at this bar or whatever. I can't imagine how overstimulated she must be trying to process everything. This is another trope that feels blah to me. Hey, to end the curse, let's kill you and bring you right back to life really quick. I don't know. I've seen it a few times. Parker, call a writer that you trust, man. More Voss water, hell yeah, sister. I love the camera following Skye as she storms through her apartment. To quote the old heads before me, if it ain't one thing, it's a motherfucking another. That's exactly how I feel if I were Skye whenever I bend over and my back started to lock up. Like, that would just, piss me off. Naomi does incredible in this outburst scene in the bathroom. Like, she's so good. Going to say it again. Skye can't get a minute's rest. This chase scene in her apartment with all the backup performers all stacked up on each other, smiling at her. Man, that was a weird as hell, man. And this hand and arm that goes down her throat, that's just wild. I will say this again. I hope Naomi got paid well for this movie. Go ahead, Mike.
Man, that many texts in a row and being left on red, she fucking hates you, brother. It's over. That shit ain't never coming back. God damn. It's a lot of texts in a row. So I like this jump scare, and it's very creative to kind of see the whole thing happen on a phone-sized screen. But, like, I didn't necessarily love that. Like, I kind of would have rather seen it in the real fucking ratio. But anyway, she walks into this bar looking like fucking B-Rabbit. We've had way too many goddamn Eminem references on this show tonight. So, again, looks like fucking B-Rabbit or Cheddar Bob, whoever you want to say.
Go clean out your closet. Get all those out of there.
Oh man, I got nothing else.
That was a reach. That one wasn't good.
No, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. You know, you can't be my Superman, buddy. Anyway, again, I don't know if we needed another expedition dump at this table, right? I mean, it kind of feels like a waste of 8 minutes, right? I mean, I'm not saying her finding out what's wrong with her isn't important, but we're really at this booth for what feels like way too long. Like, okay, there's this thing, there's this entity, it's being passed along. I just feel like we're really there longer than I want to be. She gets home and immediately turns on "Every Light in the House is On." Banger of a song. Fucking Trace Atkins, let's go, baby. Finally, though, we get some more of that really well-placed music that we get in the first 30 minutes of the film. Now, Dustin kind of touched on it. There's actually more than one scene where there's the score that we like, but like, why is it there? It happens a couple times. Here in this, we're back at her apartment. I think it's really well done. There is shit everywhere. As someone who's become a little bit of a neat freak, I can't be having this fucking just shit everywhere, man. This is a mess you've fucking gone out here and made. I love this group of backup dancer smilers, right? I mean, most movies would have them ambush her right away, if it was like a zombie movie. But they take their time. They slow everything down and they follow her in this really creepy way, and it's silent, and the way it builds to the tension is so well done. I really love that. And then they fucking ambush her and ruin everything I said. Last thing, fists in the mouth is fucking wild. That may be somebody's kink, but it ain't mine. Go ahead, Dustin.
Yeah, the text from the stranger, they're annoying to me. Buddy should have led with the whole "what you're seeing is real and I can help you" thing. Like, it's been days now. You probably would have gotten a response sooner, dummy. Great jump scare when Lewis appeared beside her while she was watching the video. Almost got me. Almost. When she meets the guy, he says, "I'm not a creep." I don't know, man. Everything you've done so far is pretty creepy. But a good thing about him, Peter Jacobson, was in the criminally underrated baseball movie 61, which I know Brian loves. I do appreciate that we get a little bit of an explanation for the smile entity here. Like, I felt like the first one was kind of missing that. We were left to figure it out on our own and make some assumptions. They lay it out. I like that. His plan sounds insane, though. Let me kill you? I'm good, bro. All the dancers being in her closet was really creepy, and their movements were insane. They kept getting closer and were moving in a wild, choreographed manner. I thought that looked awesome. And then last thing, the nasty hand down the throat was a disturbing way to end a decent set of scenes.
It was disturbing.
We open up back in the flashback as it now reveals that Skye caused Paul's death by intentionally crashing the car during a drug-induced argument. Later, Skye awakens at a rehab-type retreat facility and argues with Elizabeth over the upcoming tour. Suddenly, Elizabeth smiles, smashes a mirror, and out of nowhere, fatally stabs herself with the shard. Skye attempts to leave, but coming out of the hallucination and to her horror, realizes that it was she who stabbed Elizabeth. Skye escapes the retreat and reunites with Gemma, stealing a car to meet Morris. She receives a call from the real Gemma. Oh shit! And realizes in a stunning turn of events that the Gemma who is in the vehicle with her and who has she been with all week is the entity. She's told by the demon that Gemma hates her, and the next set of scenes is the ending.
Yeah, I love this car argument and crash scene. I wish the film had more Ray Nicholson, honestly. I think he's a damn fine actor and shined in all of his scenes in this movie. I laughed out loud when he called her a crazy bitch and started laughing. Listen, I'm not endorsing this type of dialogue, but I am endorsing laughing at it in movies. I'm just going to leave it at that. Grabbing the wheel of a car and crashing it is outrageous behavior. Jesus Christ, guy. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
That's when I fell in love. That's when I fell in love. If there's not a hint of danger, I'm not interested. And man, she was speaking my language.
That checks out. This is a powerful interaction between mother and daughter, manager and singer. What did you call it, Mike? Momager? I like that. But I'll question how tight.
A lot of child stars have those momagers, buddy. It's tough.
And they usually rip their kids off too. But anywho, how tight does this hospital have this IV in Sky's arm? Good God, she couldn't get that thing out for nothing. Not a fan of the voice used for Elizabeth, but damn, what a way to kill yourself, right? Plot twist, did Sky kill her mama? What a horrifying revelation. You just most likely killed your mother. Like, that was fucking brutal. If you're Sky, how do you get out of this situation? This just feels like up shit creek with no paddle. Honestly surprised Sky got as far as she did without getting stopped by anyone. More chaos for Sky. She's surrounded by hospital workers and she takes the gun. This poor woman, she can't get a moment's rest and their cortisol's got to be through the roof. I can't lie, if I'm Sky, when I step on this glass, that's probably my 13th reason. The straw that broke the camel's back. I've already got a gun. I'm just hitting the old dusty trail at this point, if you know what I mean. And good Lord, that piece of glass in her foot was huge. That thing was deep in there, pause. I remember being in the theater and seeing it was Gemma calling and thinking, all right, this movie is getting on my nerves officially. What's going on with this movie? I'm ready to wrap this joint up. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, I'm torn on if showing the wreck is something I actually like or not. Like the interaction leading up to it. Like the visuals of the wreck are cool, when it happens. But this back and forth, tit for tat with Paul and her, kind of, it's. I don't know. I'm not a big fan. Now Paul is a fucking cunt, bro. Like, and I hardly ever use that word, but Jesus Christ, he's a sassy little man. Jesus, man. I really like this scene with her mom, though. Right? It kind of serves the purpose of this is what the world is going to see you like this is how the public is going to view you, and so you need to get your fucking shit together. And then of course it shows her, to our eyes anyway, killing her mom. Just fucking brutal to find that out. That would be awful. And again, we saw that in the first movie, right, where you think that someone is killing themselves and you're actually doing the killing. So again, nice callback there. Using a sheet to wipe the blood is wild. That shit wasn't gonna work. No, what the fuck? Anyway, and the guy's like, "Is that blood, man? What the hell else would that be, dog? Get the fuck out of here, man." I will say I really love the scene. It ratchets it up here. Her losing it with the gun in her hand. Man, talk about this is really gonna ruin the world tour. Shout out to Justin Timberlake again. Now here we have fake Gemma, by the way. Spoiler, being too good of a friend, right? I wouldn't fucking ride or die with her. That's not Jackie Kennedy in that car. I don't fucking think so. That ain't ride or die, brother. I'm not texting you back. I'm not coming to your aid. Sorry. Now, glass in the foot. Again, I completely agree with you, Nico. I'd probably just be ready to end it, right? I mean, that shit would fucking suck. And no way. Dude, I wouldn't pull it out either. Like, it's going to hurt so much worse. Come on, man. That's a Michael Jordan Space Jam reach there, brother. Don't look at me like that. Last thing, I actually like the reveal of this being a fake Gemma. I thought it was executed well, but like we've talked about ad nauseum now, it's a lot, right? It's a lot to kind of make you realize, oh, I don't know if anything we've watched in the last 45 minutes fucking happened or not. So that's great. Go ahead, Dustin.
You mentioned earlier how you hate how celebrities were forced to care about their lives and we know way too much about celebrities. Same, but you've mentioned Justin Timberlake twice now, and every time I hear his voice, I can't help but think, or hear his name, I can't help but remember that the reason I know that he and Derek Jeter both have herpes is because of Jessica Biel. So Derek Jeter gave it to Jessica Biel, who gave it to Justin Timberlake, or he might have also got it from Britney Spears. Like, that's the story that's out there. And it's like, why do we know this?
How did we get here?
Why do we know this?
Wait a minute. Did Jessica Biel still actively have herpes?
Well, yeah.
Once you
She's
get
with,
it, there's no cure
Worth
to it.
Worth it.
Yeah, so she's with JT, and he. Yeah. Anyway, we know way too much about celebrities.
I've seen I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry. That's all that.
Yeah.
That's all that would need to make it worth it for me, brother.
She was
Yep.
on.
Hell yeah, brother! I folded quick.
She was on. Oh, dude, I think about that movie a lot when he's flirting, when Adam Sandler's flirting with her in the store, and he goes, "Hell yeah!" And then she comes back around the corner. He's like, "What's that?" He goes, "Oh, they got KY jelly 2 for 1. Hell yeah!" Like that's. We're so far off the rails.
Y'all want to just review Chuck and Larry next? This is
Dude,
a
I'm
good time.
so down. But shout out to Ving Rhames. The car ride. Back to this movie, the car ride. That scene was shot so well. Like I felt like I was in the car with this toxic couple and I wanted the car to crash. I was like, God, please get me out of here. And the camera work was really cool too. Like it kept going, panning from side to side. We went from passenger seat to driver's seat, back and forth. That was really well done. And also, this is where the movie starts to lose me. 1, it's too hard to discern what's real and what's not. But also, 2, all this talk of rehab, did they not think to drug test her? Like, she has nothing in her system. Why was she in this facility here? Why does her mom think she's tweaking? Now they've got her in a facility. Pull her blood, see what's in her system. Oh, it's nothing. So maybe she's just crazy, or maybe there's something more going on. And then, like, killing her mom? Why? Why was her mom even there? It was shocking, I'll give you that, but it was unnecessary. Her putting the hoodie on was funny to me. Like her legs, face, and hands aren't also still bloody. I had a huge issue with her stealing the gun from the security guard. Very unbelievable. And her firing a round into the ceiling was dumb. Now she's facing additional charges. It's a very tense scene, though. And yeah, Nico, that glass shard was huge. That was wild. I mean, that cut in her foot was deeper than the holler, stronger than the river. When Gemma calls Sky, that was wild. Like, that throws everything off. No clue what's real anymore, and I'm ready for the ending.
Sky comes out of her hallucination and realizes she's driving. After nearly wrecking the car, she decides to meet Morris at an abandoned Pizza Hut, where they plan to use the walk-in freezer to prevent brain damage when stopping her heart. Morris temporarily leaves, and the entity appears as Sky's former self from the car wreck. After a struggle, she fights it off and injects herself with the syringe meant to stop her heart. Unfazed, the entity mockingly affirms that Sky is not in control. Sky then finds herself on a stage for a performance at Herald Square Garden. She sees Joshua, Darius, and a still alive Elizabeth watching from the audience and realizes that the entire day has been a hallucination? ? The entity appears as Sky's current self before tearing its stomach open to reveal its true form. A large, skinless creature with multiple smiling mouths nested within one another. Sky screams and falls into a trance before the entity rips Sky's mouth apart and crawls inside. To the crowd, though, it just appears that Sky has collapsed while choking. A possessed Sky stands up, smiles, and fatally stabs herself in the eye with her microphone in front of thousands of horrified spectators. What do you think about the ending?
All right, I'm just going to be doing a lot of bitching, so y'all bear with me. So if fake Gemma is driving right now and has been, how has Sky not wrecked this vehicle yet? I'm very frustrated with the film at this point, honestly. Can you imagine how Sky is feeling trusting a stranger in a Pizza Hut freezer to kill you and then resurrect you? I trust that about as much as Adam Fuller on 3rd and 14. If you know, you know. I want to say this again. The runtime doesn't bother me, but after seeing the movie, I can't stand any of this in the car with Gemma, in the freezer with her former self. Like, just give me a break. I thought I know you touched on this, Dustin, but the eyes on, our instant reaction. The eyes on this demon Sky, I think it looks terrible.
Dude, so stupid.
Terrible. Sky is on stage now. Like, what the fuck is going on and what's actually happened this entire movie since leaving Lewis's apartment? Shout out friend of the show, Trevor Newland, portraying this monstrosity here with Sky. However, I think the monster's face looks ridiculous, but I do respect the practical effects and the puppeteering. Sky is laying on stage and no one has run a check on her for several seconds. All right, fuck her, I guess. Sky killing herself in front of the crowd, cursing everyone would be an elite ending if it hadn't already been done before. complete rip-off ending from Truth or Dare from 2018. A movie that if we ever do Guilty Pleasure Month, I'm probably going to pick because it's not good, but I enjoy it. And this is the last thing I got. I honestly wish that the death and resurrection procedure worked for Skye. You could end the two movies on a phenomenal performance from Naomi, have some resolution with the curse, but nah, we got a convoluted hot mess instead.
All right. So, by the way, and I feel like maybe we've all at least been in one at one point. One of these big industrial walk-in freezers fucking sucks, by the way. It is the shits to go into. No matter the reason, fucking cold, and feel my face immediately. Shit fucking sucks. Anyway, this man's ideas all sound like a terrible plan, too. Like this, I'm going to kill you and bring you back to life. You know, like you mentioned, Nico, seen that a bunch now, so like nothing new. I just don't like it. And I think, again, this like fake out that we get, I thought it would have worked a little bit better, honestly, Nico, if they had actually done that, right? To kind of like not beat the curse, but evade that curse, at least for a little while. They did not do that. They went right back to exactly what it was. So it was all for nothing, which I did not like. I would say you having to look up at yourself after or being mangled after a car accident would be nightmare fuel. I mean, I just can't fucking imagine anything much scarier than that. Her eyes are insane. I don't love the way that it looks. It's not great, but I don't dislike it as much as you two, I guess. It didn't bother me a ton. Biting off fucking fingers is disgusting. Didn't need to see that. Now, I will say, this, like, which guy's real, which not real, like, again, all a little convoluted for my liking. It's all in her head, I guess, question mark. Just all a little convoluted. My heart would explode if I just went through that and I walk right out on a stage with thousands of people. I wouldn't make it through the curse. My heart would give out. No fucking way. I'm having a heart. No, thank you. This Skye monster is insane though, bro. Like, what a fucking crazy look. It looks like it looks fine, but it's probably one of the least better parts of the movie. Like, it looks like a really bad Nightmare on Elm Street figure from like Nightmare 5 or something. It's just, I don't know. It's fine. And of course people cheer when that all happens because of course they would. And then you realize, oh, we've infected this entire concert, which I'm guessing will be part of the premise of the third film, is you just infected a whole bunch of people with this curse, for lack of a better term. I didn't think the ending was as bad as you guys did. I understand where you're coming from. I do. But I actually thought the ending, as far as infecting or affecting the whole crowd there, I think was really, I like that part. So I thought that was creative. It is Truth or Dare. Yes, I understand that.
Yeah, I haven't seen Truth or Dare, but I'm going to take your word for it. So, first of all, Skye Riley doesn't know how to drive, but she's been driving this whole time and for this long. And then she drove for several seconds with her eyes closed. At least, maybe her eyes were closed that whole time. I don't know. But she didn't wreck? Yeah, all right. And then on top of that, there's no police pursuit. This girl drove from like Manhattan to Staten Island. No police pursuit? Come on. Also, when she got to the Pizza Hut, why did she need to change into a hospital gown when she was already wearing a hospital gown? Yeah, it was covered in blood, but why does that matter? She's going to die. Pretty wild visual when her crashed body was hanging overhead in the freezer. The entity is going all out on her. Stomach turning when she stepped with her broken leg. Ugh. But the visuals were great. And the exaggerated bug eyes, though, so dumb. I absolutely hated that. Like you said, Nico, I did mention that on the instant review. I do remember that part because I hated it again. This is awful. And the rest of the movie, the entire rest of the movie, why? What's the point of having her jab herself in the neck and then taking us on this magical journey of pointlessness? It just gives us false hope and then makes me angry that we just wasted the last like 20 minutes. Her mom's still alive. She's not in any legal trouble. It was all for nothing. I'm probably alone in that thought, or I thought I would be, and that's okay. I just didn't like it. I don't have an issue, though, with the entity infecting a large crowd. That's a crazy and bold development. All these concert goers and everyone they encountered are screwed. But unfortunately, it sets us up for another sequel, which we don't need. Stop. But the worst part of the whole movie, to me, was the look of whatever popped out of Other Skye's torso. Just awful. Up until this end, like I said, I was actually thinking I liked this movie more than I remembered, but then I realized I was right all along. Great reveal of her smile, though. One last positive. She gets back up and her back is turned to us, but when she turns around, super creepy, and we see it on the screen behind her. I thought that was awesome, but just the rest of that ending, nah.
No, I agree, man. Let's jump into our social media comments and questions. I'll knock out the old Instagrams first. We only got one comment from Jordan Ziegler. She commented about it. Kind of already chatted with Nico about this one, but I could not keep interest once again in this movie, and I wanted to so badly. The ending lost me as well, but Homegirl acted her ass off with a hand clap emoji. Going to give it a rewatch after review, but wondered if anyone was as distracted as I was. I wasn't really distracted. I just got frustrated at the end. That's just me, though. Dustin, you got the old X's pulled up?
Yep, I got the X, artist formerly known as Twitter. We got a few. Mookie said, went from one of the best opening scenes to copping out at the end and doing a truth or dare ending. So there that is again. I guess I'll have to watch that movie. Andrew Ferguson said, I enjoyed it. The scene with her backup dancers coming after her, being controlled by the smile monster was very creepy. Agreed. And then that guy at Millhouse14108 said, probably one of the best opening sequences in recent cinema. Movie had good pacing and Naomi acted her butt off. I'm trying not to cuss anymore. The cell phone jump scare is like a sprained ankle, nothing to play with. Not bad at all, but for me, the ending didn't land well. 6 out of 10 for me. Love the show, fellas. And then he also said, congratulations again on your 1 million streams. That's right. In case you missed the news, we hit 1 million streams, guys. It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool for fucking half-ass FSU fans. You know what I'm saying, brothers?
For rednecks and hillbillies who have opinions too.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That creepy guy, Mike, too,
Yeah, the monotone guy.
Yeah, that guy. Okay. Am I doing Book of Faces? Is this what's happening here? Sure.
You're doing the Book of Faces.
I'm pulling up the Book of Faces, which I can't believe I still have. It's normally for 50 and up these days, like a goddamn retirement home. But anyway, Matthew Heifer, is it Heifer? Heifer, right?
Hey, I don't know.
Okay.
Doug Heffernan?
No, I'm pretty sure the man's name is Matthew Heifer. The film surprised the hell out of me. It's so much better than the first one. It makes me excited to think where the next one will take us. I agree, Matthew. Naomi Scott, it deserves serious praise and recognition for that performance. Absolutely. We've spent the last hour or so kind of giving Naomi her flowers. Could not agree more. Amber George, top fan of ours, says, much better than the first one. Much is a pretty strong word, so you're not alone in that feeling, though, Amber. That was pretty much everywhere when the movie came out. And Cheyenne Turner says, this was an awesome surprise. Actually got me a few times. She also used Momager, by the way. The Momager gets to vote for the best villain of 2024. I'm not so sure I saw her as a villain, but everything else, I completely agree with Cheyenne.
Dustin, you got any fun facts? I don't have any. I kind of use mine throughout.
Yeah, I got a few here. Naomi Scott said she modeled Sky Riley after Lady Gaga. And furthermore, when she's scrolling through her contacts to Gemma's, you can see Gaga above. So that's pretty cool. Despite predominantly taking place in New York City, the film was actually shot upstate in Poughkeepsie, Ellenville, and Newburgh. The MVP Arena in Albany stood in as the venue for her concert. Sky's friend who dies by suicide is named Louis Frigoli. The Frigoli delusion is when someone believes that multiple people are actually the same person in disguise, which is very appropriate for the theme of this movie. Mm-hmm. When Sky talks to Morris at the bar, her phone starts going off as her mother, Darius, and even her talent agency try to reach her. On a first watch, this can be seen as people trying to find out where she is. As being a pop singer, she isn't able to go off the grid for an extended period. However, Morris doesn't react to this while he's describing his plan to kill the entity. This likely shows that Morris is indeed real, and the entity was trying to distract Sky away from the threat to its existence. I like that. That's a good theory.
Yeah, me too. Mm-hmm.
And the last one I've got is, those first two were just too easy, so bonus round. Naomi Scott was in Aladdin with Steve the Pirate, a.k.a. Tucker, a.k.a. Alan Tudyk who was in Conception with David Arquette.
Nice. 2 David Arquettes for the price of 1, baby. Let's go. All right.
Yeah, brother.
Okay. Smile 2 was made for a cool $28 million. And again, I've seen 28. I've seen 23. 28 sounds better. It's like It's like Coach Boone with his kids, or how many brothers and sisters he had. Sorry. And then it looks like it grossed over $120 million worldwide. The most recent number looks like upward because of not a re-release. I'm not going to read that. $123 million worldwide. It ended up being the final number after an extended run in theaters. $123 million. So again, this is the reason we're fucking getting a third one, guys.
Yep. And we're in this evil cycle where I don't really want to watch another one, but god dang it, we got to support cinema and we got to do instant reaction. So I got to go.
Yeah.
I want to see what they do with the infecting the whole crowd. I really
need a
do.
whole
I'm
probably
curious.
just
You need a whole movie
probably-
out of it?
they'll probably just end up picking a whole new person and just forget that happened. Just
I
know how
hope not.
Parker fan is at this point.
I hope
I
not.
don't. I hope that like one of those concert goers left this concert and went to like one of those went on a mission trip to one of those untapped civilizations in South America or something.
There you
Meets a
go.
whole village.
It's fucked up. Those people are just minding their own business and you want to ruin their life.
Well, I mean, everything
I was-
we've
you're
seen
trying to
every
keep-
other kind of person die.
Tacted tribes to die. That's pretty fucked up. Anyway.
It is fucked up. All right, let's jump to our favorite kill, least favorite kill, and the rating. Dustin, you want to kick us off so you can jot our scores down?
Yeah, favorite kill for me was Kyle Gallner's. I can't remember his character's name. It was out of nowhere, and that open was the best scene in the whole movie. Least favorite was Sky Riley. It was off screen, and also I wasn't there to save her. Rating. And closing thoughts. I liked it better than the first, but just like the first one, the movie lost me with the ending, even more so. So I still gave it a 6.
All right, I'll go next. I thought, I just wrote down a little bit. This was a great movie until it made no sense. I understand the curse is driving Sky insane, but just none of the movie makes sense in my eyes after Lewis's death all the way until the ending. I love a movie that makes me think and feel something, but I do not like a movie that's just confusing and feels like a waste and a blatant ripoff. Like, I feel like it ripped off from The Ring, kind of like a little bit from It Follows, stuff like that. The Truth or Dare ending is like, but I'm right there with you, Dustin. I gave the original Smile a 4 because I was really disappointed with that one. I gave this one a 6, and honestly, Mike, like I said, first watch, I was at like that 9.5, 9 range up until the Gemma call. So like it really like fell apart for me.
Sure.
6 out of 10 due to the great acting from Naomi Scott and everyone else, the camera work, the gore kills, the effective jump scares. And my favorite kill was Joel, Kyle Gallner as well. And my least favorite kill, I'm going to go with the guy he shot. That he didn't
That's
mean
fair.
to.
Yeah,
That's fair.
that's good. Mm-hmm. Okay. Same favorite and least favorite kills, by the way. I mean, my favorite is Kyle Gallner, and then any of the off-screen deaths, honestly, are my least favorite. But again, there's some pretty good kills in the movie, so I would call this movie, when the gore is there, it's really good, but I wouldn't consider it a gory film, if that makes sense. Again, I really like this movie, and I actually like both of these Smile movies for very different reasons. Again, I like that the first one is a little bit deeper and has a lot to kind of say, and there's a lot there. We've covered it to death. And this one has a lot to say about trauma and being a celebrity and the lifestyle and the business and how it can tear you down and build you up and all that stuff. But it's easier to digest. It just is. I really like this movie from a strictly horror movie standpoint. I think this is an effective horror film. Again, I understand the blurring of the lines of reality and delusion, but it doesn't completely water down the film for me for all the reasons I've explained. I love the acting, the music, the sound design. I think it's all really fucking good. A very effective horror movie, like I said. I give this movie an 8.5.
Hell
All right.
yeah, brother. Respect.
So that gives us a composite score of a 7.25. And Internet Movie Database has it at a 6.8. Letterboxd a 3.3. Both of those are pretty close to each other, but Rotten Tomatoes, critics love this movie. 86%.
Yeah.
86%.
Yeah, they did.
Come on. But also,
Just call me a critic, buddy.
to our fans out there, go to our website, don'tgooutthere.com.
Yes.
And if you ever want at a quick glance
Mhm.
to wonder what we rated a movie, Brian and I put together the project. We were working hard on it the past week, making some graphics. Each episode now, you'll be able to click on the episode title, and then you'll see a graphic on there with our scores and our composite rating. So that way you don't have to listen to the whole episode or skip ahead. You can just click on it, look, and see if you believe us or not, if you agree with us or not, before you listen to our episode.
To me, it's the perfect way to listen to an episode because some of these scores over the last 5 years that Nico has given out are absurd on both ends,
brother.
and you got to listen to find out why he gave it those numbers.
Well,
Am I wrong, Dustin? Am I wrong,
yeah,
Dustin?
I can't even back you up because you're talking to the guy who rated a movie negative 6.66. So
You did do that. Well, you had your reasons, and the tire or the rubber rating is still the best graphic we've ever seen. Good God, guys.
yeah,
Tough,
we were harsh
tough day.
to Rubber and the Human Centipede.
She wanted us to beat the hell out of that movie. That's why she picked it, 100%.
I just called a stray for no reason. I'm going to shout out these blood donors. And Dustin, you can announce your pick for next week as we conclude 2024 month. It's been a good month. 2024 is just such a great year for horror movies. Blood donors, really appreciate y'all. I'm doing a Smile 2 digital code giveaway. All the blood donors are automatically entered. $5 donors, you're in there once already. $10 donors, you're in there twice, so you got a double the chance of winning. Camper level reoccurring, Nina, the Horror Movie Crew podcast, Alex Seligson, Michelle Mirza, Chris Manley, and Steve Schmidt. Camp counselor reoccurring, Edwin Hernandez Gunn, Joe Swinford, Adrian Aiello, Brian Samick, Andrew Ferguson, Brooke Maley, Heather Superdoc, Jennifer Davis from the Too Close to Home Pod, Dana Tucker, Cole McAlexander, Max K, and Madison Arzola. Really appreciate y'all. Y'all take a huge burden off us. I can't stress that enough because it's not free to do this podcast.
No.
It is free to stutter through all your Walking Dead scene by scene, which I did earlier. But go ahead, Dustin, announce your pick for next week.
I've been stuttering my whole life, buddy.
So 2024 month, my pick just came in under the at the buzzer for 2024. Look, I go see every A24 movie. I've watched every A24 movie. So I was going to go see Y2K no matter what. I went to it thinking it was just a straight comedy. And I was like, oh, there's kills in this. This is horror. This is horror comedy. So I'm picking it. Y2K. I loved it. I thought it was funny. Shout out to Fred Durst. I can't wait to talk about it with you guys.
Let's fucking go. Can't fucking wait.
It is a fun little movie. I agree.
And also shout out to Mason Gooding because Nico just schooled me last night. I didn't know that was Cuba Gooding Jr.'s son until literally last night.
Yeah, man is invincible. He can't be killed. Like, we should just start taking bets on prize picks. Is he going to survive this movie? Because we know he's going to.
Damn, y'all just spoiled Hard Eyes for me, son of a bitch. Oh.
I don't know what you're talking about. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Y'all have a good one.
An hour and 20 minutes? God damn.
Jason X.
Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you next week. And in the meantime, take care of yourself.
Just want to remind everybody,